Heads up, true crime fans, this one's a real head-scratcher. Welcome back to Unsolved Echoes. I'm your host Alex, and today we're re-diving into a case that is as bizarre as it is chilling: the disappearance of Eleanor Vance. We've got our usual team on deck. Leo, our resident ex-detective, and Maya, our investigative journalist. They've been digging deep, and what they've found is, well, you'll see. So, let's set the scene. May 14th, a picture-perfect spring evening in the quiet, affluent town of Crestwood. Eleanor Vance, a celebrated author known for her psychological thrillers, vanishes from her home. No signs of forced entry, no struggle. Just a half-empty glass of wine on a desk next to a manuscript titled The Final Chapter. A little on the nose, right? The police initially suspected she just walked away, maybe seeking inspiration. But Eleanor wasn't just an author. She was a creature of habit, a homebody. Her friends and family were adamant she wouldn't just leave. Now, let's bring in Leo. He got his hands on the initial police report. Leo, what was the first thing that jumped out at you? He told me the scene was too clean, or almost theatrically clean. The wine glass had been wiped for prints, but not thoroughly. A single, smudged print was left behind, but it didn't match anyone in the system, or anyone in Eleanor's life. It was a ghost print. And then there's the manuscript. The police read it, of course. It described a famous author who stages her own disappearance to frame her estranged husband. It seemed like a roadmap. This is where it gets complicated. Eleanor's husband, Julian Vance, a wealthy art dealer, had a solid alibi. He was at a gallery opening 2 towns over, with dozens of witnesses. Their divorce was messy, sure, but he seemed genuinely distraught. Maya, you spoke with some of Eleanor's close friends. What was their take on Julian? Well, Alex, they painted a different picture. They said Julian was possessive and controlling. One friend mentioned he'd once joked, "If I can't have her, no one can." A classic red flag, but without evidence. It's just hearsay. The police couldn't pin anything on him. For weeks, the case went cold. The media frenzy died down, and Crestwood returned to its sleepy normal. The police officially classified it as a voluntary disappearance, citing the manuscript as evidence of a planned stunt. But we know better, don't we? So, our team decided to re-examine the one place everyone overlooked: Eleanor's writing itself. Not just the final manuscript, but all her previous novels. Maya, you're the literary expert here. You spent days combing through her work. What did you find? She found a pattern. In 3 of her 5 published novels, a minor character, a groundskeeper named Mr. Abernathy, helps the protagonist fake their death or disappearance. His character was always described the same way: quiet, observant, and fiercely loyal. He was a ghost in the narrative, always in the background. It was a long shot, but we had to ask, did Eleanor have a real-life Mr. Abernathy? We dug into her life, not just the public-facing author persona, but the private Eleanor. We looked at her home maintenance records, her emails, her social media tags, and that's when we found him. A man named Thomas Green. He'd been Eleanor's gardener for over a decade. He was quiet, kept to himself, and lived in a small cottage on the edge of town. Neighbors said he was devoted to her, but in a platonic, respectful way. He was her confidant. Leo decided to pay Thomas a visit, not as an ex-cop, but just as a concerned citizen. He told me Thomas was nervous but polite. When Leo mentioned Eleanor, Thomas's face was a mask of grief. He insisted she just went away for a while, that she needed a break from Julian. But Leo's cop instincts were screaming. Something was off. He noticed a small, freshly disturbed patch of soil behind Thomas's cottage, covered with a new bird bath. It wasn't on any landscape plan. While Leo was talking to Thomas, Maya was doing a deep dive into his background, and she hit the jackpot. Thomas Green wasn't his real name. His legal name was Thomas Abernathy. My jaw dropped when she told me. Mr. Abernathy, the loyal groundskeeper from her novels. This couldn't be a coincidence. Eleanor wasn't just writing fiction. She was documenting her life, her fears, and her escape plans, hiding them in plain sight. The pieces started to click into place. Eleanor, fearing her increasingly unstable husband, had been planning her escape for years. She'd created a fictional character based on her one trusted ally, Thomas Abernathy, and embedded him in her stories. The final chapter wasn't a confession. It was a misdirection, designed to make the police think she framed her husband and ran away. The smudged print, the cleans in it, was all part of the plan, a plan she executed with Thomas's help. But the question remained, where did she go, and was she safe? Thomas wasn't talking. He was loyal to a fault. We knew we couldn't go to the police with this. It was all circumstantial. The name Abernathy, the disturbed soil. It was a great theory, but it wasn't proof. We were at a dead end. Then, Maya had another breakthrough. She was rereading Eleanor's first novel, a lesser-known book called Echo Lake. In it, the protagonist escapes an abusive relationship and starts a new life in a small, remote cabin by a lake in rural Quebec, a place described with such vivid detail it had to be real. On a hunch, Maya cross-referenced property records in that specific region of Quebec as she found it. A small, secluded cabin, purchased 2 years ago through a shell corporation, a corporation whose director was listed as Thomas Abernathy. So, is that where she is? Living a quiet life under a new name, finally free? It seems likely. Thomas helped her disappear, giving her the head start she needed. The final chapter she wrote wasn't the end of her story, but the beginning of a new one. The police have since reopened the case based on an anonymous tip. Wink wink. They secured a warrant to search Thomas's property. They haven't released what they found under that birdbath yet, but our sources say it wasn't a body. It was a box containing Eleanor's old IDs and personal effects, the final remnant of her past life. Eleanor Vance, the master of the psychological thriller, pulled off the greatest plot twist of all, her own survival. It's a powerful reminder that sometimes the truth isn't just stranger than fiction, it's written within it. It's also a sobering look at how far someone has to go to escape a dangerous situation. This case is a testament to the incredible work of our team, Leo and Maya. We don't have all the answers, and maybe we never will. Eleanor, if you're out there watching this, we hope you're safe and happy. Your story isn't over. That's all the time we have for this episode of Unsolved Echoes. What do you think? Did Eleanor do the right thing? Let us know your theories in the comments below. We read every single one. If you found this case as fascinating as we did, make sure to hit that like button and subscribe so you don't miss our next investigation. Thanks for watching, and stay curious.